It's Patisserie Week, Patisserie Week. What's patisserie? That's French for bakery. It's Bakery Week. What was last week? Dessert Week. Who's writing this? What's next week going to be? Fucking Sweets Week? Not Dinner Week? Fucking, I don't know. I shouldn't have this job. You're right, you shouldn't have that job. Channel 4 exec. Right? Bread. Pastry. Shoe buns. Do I honestly have to go in there myself and tell you how, listen, you're a nice guy. Just fucking write better titles for the weeks. Anyway, I wrote here, this is a quality of my writing. I wrote Patisserie Week, yes sirree, Bob. Should have wrote Surrey Cruise. Anyway, I don't know, I don't have a joke about that. Anyway, Noel and Matt, Surrey Cruise is Tom Cruise's child. Noel and Matt have some top drawer patisserie banter. Noel starts singing a hilarious song connecting patisserie to lingerie. You know, it's all French. You know, you know, you got the bakery and you know the baps, the bakery and the baps from the bakery. You know, you got your sweets and teats. You know, I didn't even write that down. That came up with that just now. Yeah, hire me to write the names of these weeks. Anyway, they're looking for elegant French perfection. It's got to be the best. And who is going to deliver on the best? These four? These four, really? You got a fucking lizard. You got a droid. You got a French foghorn. And you have a literal watercolor painting of a child in the semi-final. You know, in this semi, not one of them has given me a semi. But let me tell you this. You don't get semis when it's family. Or at least you're not supposed to. And I wouldn't have chosen any of these, but you can't choose your family. Hey, I'm Vin Diesel, we family. And that's what they are. Laura is not very confident. She says straight off the bat, it would be killer to go out before the final. That is not you. But Laura has always done well in these high-pressure environments. She kind of gets to a point where she's like, do you know what? Fuck it. She fails first in her mind, and then she's like, everyone else here is like dreamland. Everything. This is now I've done that weird trick where I'm now lucid dreaming, and none of this is real because I shouldn't be here in the first place. I'm gonna go jock that person. I'm gonna push Obama down the stairs. I don't know why I would want to push Obama. He's the first person that came to mind. You know what I mean? It's just a dream. I'm going to fabricate Sarah Michelle Gellar, and I'm going to hold her hand. You know? So that is what am I talking about? She says it's a killer to go before the final. She's living in a dreamland. And she works very well under that sort of pressure. Hermine does patisserie. I do patisserie. She's been fucking banging on about the fucking French shit for weeks. She's been there pots and pans. She's been shiting on about being French. This is her week to shine. And here we go. Paul Hollywood. Hair watch. The parton's kind of back. There's a bit more growth on the sides. And Prue Leith is just a fucking banging woman. She's a stunning specimen of a woman, let alone. Age is not a number. I don't care about it. But she's also 80. But she's a specimen. Pfizer are probably putting her in a fucking jar that says specimen A+. Cure. I don't know what that means. I thought of science. And recently they were talking about the vaccine. Anyway, listen, doesn't fucking matter. They keep fucking saying, Savrin. And I don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about the sort of dough or whatever they're fucking making. Savrin. I don't know what they're savoring. I don't even know what they're savoring. I don't understand what word that is. I can't hear. We didn't have subtitles on. Anyway, Laura keeps saying, I'm a home baker. I'm not refined. I'm a home baker. Laura, Hunty, you got this. I want you to win. You got more fucking jam than a fucking donut, you jammy. You're a jammy dodger. You're going to do well. You shouldn't be here. I love that. That's what I love about you. You're like fucking, you're the underdog. You're like Leicester City. I love it. Anyway, it's much hotter in the tent today, and they're being told this will affect their proving times, right? And if I was a judge, you know what I'd do? I'd go in there, given that it's so hot. If I was Paul Hollywood, I'd go over to Dave, and I'd be like, Dave, just to let you know, today you've much less to prove. And he'd be like, oh, that's, wow, because it's so hot, so you better fucking watch your proving times and mess with them psychologically. Do you know what I mean? You've less to prove. Oh, wow, the pressure is on. No, the pressure's on, because watch how long. Whatever. Anyway, Hermine is making a baboram. She's making a baboram. Baboram. She's making a baboram. But I tell you, if I was Hermine and then Paul came over, so flipping it now, I was the judge before messing with Dave, and now I'm Paul Hollywood and I'm messing with Hermine. No, I'm Hermine and Paul Hollywood's coming to me, and he'd be like, "What are you making today?" I'd be like, "Well, I'm making a baboram." Baboram! Ooh, the baboram! And he'd write in his face, you got me rocking and a rolling baboram. And then he'd be like, no, I haven't practiced anything. I don't know what I'm making. Laura is making a pineapple baba. Sounds like a delicious king of elephants made of pineapple. I love it. She says Paul has the eyes of the Night Walker. I think you mean either White Walker or you mean Night King. So, but to be fair, normally that's sort of it. Well, actually, nerdism that I would kind of come out with. I'm going to let it pass. One, because you're Laura and you're fab. Two is you can do whatever the fuck you want to that show. It broke my heart, and you can say whatever you want. I was so protective over it. No, it's fine. Daenerys just, maybe she didn't see the ships. Maybe she just didn't see the ships, and she was just going on a little fucking flight with her dragon. And no one even cares about spoiling that anymore. Remember that? You'd be like, no, don't be careful. Who gives a shit? I'm still not going to spoil it, but Game of Thrones, I should have known, given how handsome one of the fucking showrunners is of that show. You got the other one who doesn't talk much, and the one who talks loads, and he looks like a fucking granite Greek god. You know? You can't be that fucking handsome reading fucking Game of Thrones. Have you seen the writer of Game of Thrones? That's the only person I want to have tell me a story about fucking dragons. Not you fucking specimen with your sharp nose. Anyway, fellow peer, David and David, it's just a shame he didn't stick the landing. Anyway, what am I saying? Yeah, Dave is making a Mexican passion fruit tequila thing. And he says the final's in sight, very tough competition. He's very, very cool, very demeanor, very Terminator 1, if I do say so myself. Peter's wearing lovely shorts again. Lovely short, hello. Tiddly legs. I can technically, when you have your legs on show, legally, I'm allowed. So you not be giving that shit to me. Don't be giving out to me about that. Anyway, he's making a rectangle baba because it's hip to be square. And he's a nice guy. And he's just making a rectangle. He's not square. He's far more interesting than me. What do I have? I fucking say I'm into comics, but I haven't read a comic in about 20 years. This is the reason I'm getting back into comics. Anyway, that's just a side note. Right? Anyway, Laura is making the dough, and she goes, I want you to imagine this dough is Paul's face, right? And she smashes it, pulls it, the flesh. Like, imagine it was actually Paul's human face. And she was able to do that. You know when they say, like, when you're in, like, a 200-mile-an-hour motorcycle accident and your head actually liquefies. Imagine she was that strong. Like, One Punch Man. Pah! You fucking broke my face, Chuck. Anyway. What is this show? Anyway, listen, come here to me. Come back. They're all worried that if they overprove and blah, 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 and if they underprove. But I tell you what, if I was a baker, again, put myself in their shoes, and if mine was overproved and they were given out to me in the judges, I'd be like, well, do you know what? This is the semi-final, and I felt I had a lot to prove. So, and they'd be like, that's brilliant. We've never heard that pun before. That you, straight to the final. Do not pass go. Do not, go now to the final because you're so funny. Hermine's very laid back. A bit of coasting going on. But then she does step that pussy up, and her Sovereign aren't uniform, so she goes at it again and very hard. And she makes a second batch that are also not uniform, but she just takes the best ones. Then they dump this shit in some syrup. It looks delicious. It looks like fucking lemon drizzle cake. I love a little drizzle. And then they have to do some fancy shit. They're all piping and doing all the putting up flowers. Dave's like, I'm making 12 mango flowers. Do you want mango flower, mate? I made 12 mango flowers. They just take his sound bites because he speaks in such, you know, he speaks with such. He's so deliberate in everything he says that everything he says is like a very funny soundbite because there's no fluff either side of it. He's very precise. And this is something Terry said. His Android capabilities are going to fucking, you know, this is going to be Apple iOS 12 or whatever. You know what I mean? Very precise. And he's going to deliver. Anyway, judges' critiques. Hermine, interesting, modern, a bit irregular in colour. The saffron's a bit over, a bit bready. Like a bit of fucking Brennan's, not nice. And Brennan's is nice. Laura, pretty, really pretty. Excuse me, really pretty, but messy. Sounds like someone I know. Do you fancy me? Do you fancy me? I fancy me. Well, there's no one else here. I must fancy me. Anyway, it's a lovely light sponge. A bit too spicy, though. Get the star anise out there, bitch. There's a bit of star anise in there, and no one wants it. Anyway, Dave has a weird... He put it in a bowl. He put it on a sauce in a bowl. What a wild, wild man. But it's simple. It's fun. The cake is light. It really works. Peter Prue says, "Hey, fucking prawn. Hey, you fucking prawn, eh? I didn't think I'd like this without any bis. You know I love my rum, you fucking prawn. But it's fucking delish." And then Paul, it was a long time coming. The sleeve was up from the first minute of the fucking show, and with a snap, everyone turns into fucking pepper, and bodes very well for Peter in the semis. Peter, very well. Technical. So the tip they're giving for this is you have to be quite methodical. It's all about precision. Dave boots up to the sound of that. Sound of that, not the sound of a bat. You know. Did somebody say precise? Do you want me to deliver on something precise? Anyway, they're making a Danish cornucopia. Horn aplenty, oh pardon. Oh my god. Hermie, never heard of it before. Well, maybe you fucking get your horn in there like an old man in a fucking trying to listen to a concert. And maybe you'd hear of it. I don't know. Laura, never eaten it, never seen it, never heard of it. Next. Are we on MTV's Next? Because I'm not interested. I never heard of this thing. Anyway. And then they're talking about this Danish cornucopia, horn aplenty. And then they show what it is. What the fuck is that shit? It looks like a fucking alien sex organ. I don't know if you're as into dragon fleshlights as I am for the furry community. I'm not into them, but I've seen them. It looks exactly like a dragon fleshlight. You know, like a fake, you know, thing that you can do. But it's not even of this species. They make those. I don't have one. I don't want one. I prefer the woman. But they exist. Why am I taught whatever? They exist, and it looks like that. Anyway, then Paul goes, "Do you want to try my horn?" Paul, you fucking dirt. You dirty. Tisk, tisk. But Prue goes for it. So I guess these two, finally, we have shipped Paul and Prue together. Da, da, da. They're together now. Because she ate a bit of this thing, biscuit or whatever. So Dave seems to get it. He's cool. He's composed. Releasing a bit of steam from the back of his ear. Peter. Noel starts feeling him up and asked if he kissed Paul. He is, honestly, I think he's just toying with him. I think he's like, you're a little fish and I'm the big shark and you're in my little pond. So you're doing much better in this situation than me. That's not a good analogy, but you know what I mean? He's kind of like, hey, little fish. Hey, fish. You know, hey, fish. To Paul, to Peter. This is so rude. This is so rude to these people. I can't. These are real people, and I don't care that, you know. Obviously, I'm not on television saying this, so it's not as bad. But I am physically broadcast. Oh, whatever. It's fine. Peter, you're a nice guy. I respect you. You're the best baker in here. Do you know what I mean? Let's not have it anyway. Laura's a bit flustered. She says, "This is her worst nightmare. She doesn't have a logical brain." And I tell you, if I was there and I heard, "Well, you don't have a logical brain," well, when I was young, I guess life was so wonderful, a miracle. That's what I'd sing. I'd sing a logical song for her, make her happy. She'd be there crying, I don't have a logical brain. And I'd be like, Scooter! And then she'd be like, I love him. That's great. It's made me feel much better. Look, no, Matt does actually go over there and not sing Scooter, but he says, look, if there was something in you that couldn't do this, you wouldn't be here. So you can fucking do this. Step that pussy up and do it. And she does. And she's like, I really like that guy. Genuinely made her feel better, and he's a really nice guy. Noel tries to do something similar over to Hermine, except not at all. He goes over there, just fuck with her, and then she kind of gives him this look, being like, fuck off. And then but she doesn't say that. She's just looking at him, being like, honestly, I don't want to chat right now. And he goes, do you want to get on my shoulders? And I love that. I love that. Noel, it's that kind of goofiness that he had in previous seasons, but he's so unhinged now without Sandy, and I'm living for it. Anyway, they're taking them out now. Loris is all cracked, but she knows, whatever, it's fine. And then they start fucking piping on this stuff. Well, let me tell you about these bakers. They're hardly a bloody Mario, because they are not very good at piping. Do. Not that good at piping. It sounded a bit like an accent. Well, I didn't mean to. Let's just say they're not. Let's just say they don't know how to lay the pipe like our Mario, if you know what I mean. Wah! Woohoo! Yeah! Yeah! You know what I mean? Mario from the games. Whatever. Anyway, the piping shit, and they're all laid out. Some are curved, some are not. Laura's breaks, but fucking come on, Laura, you got this. Anyway, judges. They laugh at his horn, because rather than in shaped like that, laid, it's up like that, and it looks like a cock. But what's funny is Dave's obviously never seen a penis because he doesn't have one, so he was not, flustered, and whatever else would think, should I put that like that? Looks a bit like a cock. He's like, no, that's good. What's a cock? Because he doesn't have one. He just has, cables and plugs and things down there. Peter, the icing's nice, the graduations are nice, but no horn. But that is no horn. And some bits are overbaked, some are underbaked. Laura, it's a mess. The rings are all over the place. It's like the start of Lord of the Rings. And 9 were given to the men who above all else crave power. To the dwarves were given 5, for they like gold. Must be really gold member, these dwarves. Whatever. It's just a fucking Bacon show. Kevin Bacon show. A foot loose, a kick a fist on their shoe buns. Bringing it back to baking. Anyway, Hermine, neat. The icing isn't good. The flavor's okay. Needs to be softer, or is too soft. I don't remember. Anyway, Laura's last, then Dave, then Hermine, and Peter number 1. Peter's had a very good day, he says. That's meant to be Scottish. I fucked it up. Scottish. I've had a very good day. Going Welsh now. English Peter has had a very good day. Eh? Anyway, now we're on to the showstopper. They have to make a cube cake, and then in walks Philip Schofield. Cube, simplify. Simplify this cube cake. That's what happened. And then in walks the fencer lady from the Cube with the mask, and she's like, doing hopscotch or whatever they do. I don't know. My wife doesn't let me watch the Cube. She just doesn't like it. Not just doesn't watch me. She doesn't like it. I think it's the best. I think it's one of the best shows on TV. Is the Cube. The Cube. Because they're talking at a box, right? They're talking at a box in the Cube. And there has to be like a bunch of, runners and stagehands and stuff. Not stagehands, but whatever, TV people running in, picking up the fucking things again. They have to turn over all these Skittles in a row or whatever. Or they have to step through a thing and not knock over any fucking cups. You know what I mean? And then they go, and it goes all wrong. And then literally stagehands have to go in and reset that. And then they get a cut of Philip Schofield being like, Cube, reset. And like the Cube, anyway, whatever. I like the Cube. I think it's funny that they have to do all this stuff. And the way it's edited, if you're sitting there in the audience, be like, oh, this is not magic or futuristic at all. They're just in a room. Anyway, whatever. You can wait for my proper Cube material in an upcoming episode of this pod. Anyway, what are they doing? They have 4.5 hours. It has to be precise. It has to be spongy. And Prue wants to see them fucking fight. Fight! You fucking prune. We're almost here at the fucking final, right? We need to see you guys Right, men? Where am I from now? Fight. Anyway, Peter is doing 3 sponges. Oh yeah, mate, I'm doing 3 sponges, 3 glazes, 3 mousse, chocolate, pistachio, cherry. There's a lot going on. Hermine, when I practice, it didn't go well, but I changed recipe yesterday morning. It'll be fine. Coast to coast. Coast to coast. Coffee, praline, cherry, choc. Dave goes, I love chocolate. It's all chocolate. It's some sort of like Black Forest gâteau kind of thing. Peter does a trick where he takes his cake out. He's like, I always listen to my cakes. The bubble means I have to kill everyone. When they don't bubble, it means kill everyone. You know? He's not. I don't know what the accent. I wish I could do his accent because I'm veering on. Anyway. Dave has had a snafu. He didn't put the fucking cream or something in. He's freaked. He didn't read his own instructions. You know, which is weird for a robot to do. No, Laura's making the Black Forest cube cake. She's confident about the flavour. It's just how it's going to set and the fucking glaze and all that. Anyway, bad news is Hermine's fucking mousse doesn't set. Imagine a moose doing a set at a comedy club. I think a moose doing a set at a comedy club would go like this, right? Here's a moose doing a set at the Inter, right? There we go. And what's the deal with a car? Once you're staring at it and then you get killed by it. You know? What's the deal with the flashlights? You see it, and then it mows you down. Oh, ba-doo-ba-doo-doo. Do moose do the moose and headlights? Anyway, Dave is messing up the caramel. Oh no, everything looks fucking rotten. Everyone's having a fucking shit time. Laura's fucked fucking 24 sheets of fucking gelatin in this mirror glaze. It looks rotten. It looks like fucking burnt popcorn. You only burn popcorn in a pot and then you just fill it up with water because it's going to soak, but you just leave it there for weeks and it's all fucking horrible. And yeah, it looks like that. But meanwhile, fucking Peter is all like, just everyone's like, it's not set. I forgot the cream. This isn't going to fucking do my mirror glaze. And then Peter's like, just fiddling away. Hermine's looking fucking shit. The moose has not set. What's the deal with these antlers? It hasn't set. None of them are coming out of the mold. They're hacking into the molds. They're wasting £9. Apparently these molds are £9. And I love that Dave knows that these are £9. And he's like, I can't believe I have to waste this £9. But they are, and I have to cut them out. Which is, I've never seen waste like that on television. Of this show. Anyway, Laura's chocolate cake, it looks like fucking rust. It looks like shit. Then she's trying to pour it into the fucking muck and it's fucking spilling everywhere. It's fucking watery, dribbly. It's fucking falling about the place. Just didn't work. The mirror glaze didn't work. Laura, I'm sorry, love. I wanted you to win. You didn't do well in the fucking up top. You didn't do well. You came last in the technical and you've got fucking black tar. You look like the fucking, like a fucking lung cancer ward is just hocked up in a fucking bowl, and that's horrible. I shouldn't have brought up cancer. Anyway. Whatever. Look, anyway. It just looks fucking gross. It looks like something on the back of a fucking cigarette package. You know what I mean? And she's poured that all over fucking mirror glaze. Anyway. Just didn't work. The judges' critiques. Dave, looks great, neat, tidy. The chalk is holding. It's a triumph. The chalk is holding. The caramel, the mousse has set, so it's a good set. So what would that be like? I think all those jokes were good, so I'll leave it at that. You've improved a lot, they say to Dave. You've upgraded quite a lot. Great work on your software updates. Laura, Prue goes, this is Patisserie Week. You fucking prune. This needs to look good, but they're absolutely delicious. Not the best thing, but the flavors are good. Are they just being nice? Because it was the writing's been on the wall. She's been on the bottom more or less 5 times on the trot. Peter, so clever, complicated, nice shine, beautiful, sponge, the mousse is gorge. It works beautiful. And then he's even getting fucking cocky. He's like, go on, have a fucking other one. Eat the fucking other one, the one that I like. The one that you didn't eat, you fucking clones. Eat the fucking other one, man. And then they do. And they say that's lovely as well. Hermine, the mousse hasn't set. It tastes like raspberry, but it wasn't supposed to taste like raspberry. It wasn't supposed to taste like raspberry. You know, it's quite stodgy. It's too jelly. And then Prue says, by your standards, you fucking prawn, a failure. And then Dave, And then they're sitting down, and I'm like, fuck. Because they've been very emotionally invested in the showstoppers in this season. It seems like the technical doesn't matter. It seems like the first one doesn't matter. Although, having said that, we're not eating these fucking cakes. We're only looking at them. And then it has to be edited. They're having conversations in between all this. They're eating the cakes. They're looking at the cakes. They're seeing how people work. They know who's failing. They know who's the best. They're judges. We have to respect their decision. And what they decide is that Peter is going to be Star Baker. Boolabus. Boolabus to the Busker Brewsker. He's a big bin. Boolabus. And fucking Hermine is going, what? I know you're the judges. Laura probably would have even been happy to go. I think she should win. I don't know. I actually want Dave to win. I'm actually really proud of him. Dave is like now saying, I can't express how happy I am. It's unbelievable. He's just so fucking sincere, and he's really good. And I kind of feel like his baking, I have no evidence of this, but I kind of feel like his baking is a flair for aspects of his other life that he's been forced to repress, being a robot, giving this canon. And this is a way of him, it's his genius. He is a genius. And I'm so glad he's having the success at being a genius in this thing, and it's being on such a wide scale. I don't know if he'd make a very good presenter. I'd say he'd write a book very fast. Anyway, coming up next week, oh my God, we're in the fucking final. And that means who's going to be back? The lovely Lottie's going to be back. Curly Whirly's going to be back as well. And fucking Rowan's going to be back. Probably making it all about him again. He's probably going to they're probably going to be serving stuff out, and then Rowan will, well, I actually made these. That's inspired by the very first film of the fucking bullet going in the moon's head. I couldn't remember the name of the film. Anyway, but then they say the closest decision ever in Bake Off history. I'm living for it. I'm loving it. But I'm not doing the McDonald's thing. I already did a McDonald's ad, and they're not paying for this. Anyway, come here to me. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Jordan Daniel, my best friend, for making these lovely little visuals. They're stunning. Cian Condy. I don't know him that well. But thanks very much for doing the theme song. Thank you for the fine people here, especially Alan here at the Head Stuff Podcast Network, the podcast studios here. If you're a small, medium, or large-sized business and want to do a podcast, I highly recommend doing it here. And thank you for coming out in your droves, supporting this podcast about a TV show baking thing. Thank you very much. If you like this and would like to support this, you can go over to the Patreon, where the equivalent of a price of a pint a month means that I can make these videos, and I make the podcasts and even extra Patreon episodes. If you like Disney animals, hey, do you like Disney animals? Well, I'm ranking who the most fuckable of them are. And that's over on the main feed of the podcast and also the Patreon podcast. We're doing part 2 of my tournament of most fuckable Disney animals, fuckathon. You're probably not here for that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next week for the fucking final.